Welcome, everybody, to this special Scale to Exit mini podcast. Let me set the screen for you today. My guest is Athin Cassiotis, business growth expert, where he helps businesses grow, scale, and create wealth and freedom. Athin is also an international coach, mentor, consultant, podcast host, and investor. Now, get this, his podcast, The Business Growth Show, includes incredible guests like Jay Abraham, the highest paid marketer in the world, Julian Michaels from The Biggest Loser in the US, Bruce Buffer, UFC Octagon announcer, Joe Foster, Reebok founder, and Nick Bell, celebrity apprentice. I'm exhausted after just saying that. When we last spoke, Athin, you were telling me you recently met up with JT Foxx and Adam Coffey at their Scale to Exit and their M7A program. JT and Adam have flipped the M7A industry on its ear in 2025 with their revolutionary M7A strategy. I understand this has had a profound effect on you, your thought processes, your business, and the results, your clients. Now, the JT Foxx M7A program is allowing you to grow your business across borders, across industries, all while minimizing your risk and having the support of JT Foxx himself and Adam Coffey, who has exited $2.6 billion previously and just $500 million this year alone. Most of all, it's been able to partner with them. Their experience and financial backing must be of great comfort to you and your clients, I expect. So, Athin, let me just ask this one question to get started and welcome. How has partnering with JT Foxx and Adam changed the way you operate and the outcomes for your clients?
Yeah, thanks for the awesome intro, Craig. And yeah, partnering is massive, right? And this is a big thing about me because the way I see partnering is we can do a lot more with others than we can do just on our own. And going, okay, what can I get from partners, whether it's, they're further down the line than us, there's capital, there's relationships, there's a lot of different ways, to partner with people. So having people like JT Foxx and Adam Coffey on board, especially in the M&A space, it's like, well, these people have a lot of money, right? And, we can never have enough money, right? Even if you've got a lot of money, it's like you can never have enough to be able to do more deals, right? And when you buy businesses, when you do M&A, as you would know, Craig, it's like you're not just going to get like really big, decent businesses for no money down. People try and say that, right? You're going to have to put some money down. And yes, there may be some terms over time that you pay some of it, but you're going to have to put, a chunk of money, right? To buy a good business there and ideally put businesses together, right? And everything like that and do it multiple times. So to have the experience of these guys, Adam, over 2.6 billion, I think, right, in exits that he's done previously. So he knows what he's doing and learning from him on all those areas, those intricacies. So we know what to look for. So when we bring the deal, then, that we're bringing a great deal there. And then JT, his massive network all over the world and what he's done in a short period of time as well with exits and partnering together. And that mentality is massive, right? So yeah, learning from them and then going, okay, let's do it together. Let me put my relationships, my deals, my effort in with their relationships, their money, everything like that. And basically, everybody wins.
Couldn't agree more. Now, from a business growth perspective, what is stopping people from achieving the success and the exit they deserve?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think there's a couple of different elements here, right? Number one, a lot of people get into business and they've got a skill and they go into business and it's like their baby. And they go, I just want to nurture this baby. I want to keep it there for a while and everything like that. And they don't necessarily think about it for an exit. And a lot of the time they use it almost like a lifestyle business, it would be called now, right? It's like, okay, it allows me to have a good lifestyle and that's nice. I put a lot of expenses through the business, but it's not really, maximizing the profitability and maximizing the value for someone as an investor to come in, right? And that's where the identity is an element here of what we do. So Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad book, he has his cash flow quadrant. And I think I refer to this because I think it's a great simple way to think about it, where you have, employed, then you have sort of the self-employed, then you have the business owner and you have the investor, right? So you need to shift from a technician a lot of the time for people to be the business owner. How do I look at it strategically? And this is where having business coaches and mentors, people like myself and you, Craig, right, to help on that strategic level, to get to think like that. And then going, well, what's the next level? It's an investor. If I was going to get into an investor into this business, what would that look like? Or if I was going to invest into a business, right? Well, like what would that be there? Because that's where you can get a big exit, right? Like it's great to get cash flow and have a profitable business, yes. But if you can get a big chunk of money, right? It's like all this hard earned work, to be able to get some level and then move on to the next project without being too done. And then when you think like that, you set it up properly and you delegate, right? Where I think most people hold on to things too much. They go, oh, no one can do it as good as me, everything like that, which is true because we're unique. But it's like let's just allow someone do it 80% as good or whatever and delegate that out so we can work on the high level stuff. And then you've got a more sellable, business for people to invest into.
With the exit, it's crucial. You can have a standard exit that everybody does, but working with people like JT Foxx and Adam Coffey and yourself, that's where it compounds, it multiplies, and you can end up with not just one, but 2 and 3 enormous exits. Brilliant. Okay, so what creates the biggest immediate impact in a business, and what compounding effect do you expect over the long term?
Yeah. So a lot of the time with businesses, it's about growth, right? Everyone wants to make more revenue, more profit, right? And everything like that there. So when I look at a business initially, I look at a few things. Number one, like what's the business model? How do we make money here? Is it a once off type of business, right? Is there a recurring model? And ideally we have a recurring model and every business can have a recurring model. So firstly, it's going, what's the business model? Is it great the way that it is? Or could we be adjusting, adding things of how we make money in the business? Because a lot of people are leaving things on the table, right? About how we can make money. Can we be maximizing the current clients? Because most of the time, I think the stats are that a person that's already spent money with you is 7 times more likely to spend more money than having a new client, right? That would. So it's like, how do I maximize the people that have done with me? Or if they've already been in my database before, how do I reactivate them? Right? And everything like that. So there's like all this money that's already sitting there basically in your business that you don't have to go out there a lot of the time. People just think, I need more marketing, more sales. It's like you've already got, a lot of potential here, here to look at that. So do we offer something different? How do we move them along? So that's what I think is a big portion that a lot of people don't think about. Then you go into, okay, how are we attracting people with marketing and sales? I think the biggest one would be partnerships, right? We're talking about partnerships already, obviously with JT and Adam Coffey, about the M&A side of things and M7A side with buying businesses, roll-ups, putting businesses together. But that's any business, right? It's like going, well, these people have a great area that they could do. This complements what I do. Hey, let's put this together and put a unique offering out there, like a JV or something like that, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you could do, or you could partner in a business sense, right? And go, hey, we've got similar businesses, let's come together and let's do something really great here, right? Or we can do that. So I think the elements to really make it go to the next level.
One of the key things that JT says is that you should always have for a product, you should have 3 different options for people to choose from. And that's another great strategy that I like very much. Okay, thank you for that. Now, in practical terms, how do people create actual wealth and freedom in today's market?
Yeah. It's obviously bigger picture thinking, right? So wealth is more of a long-term thing and freedom is obviously what you're feeling right now, right? So I think a lot of people out there want instant gratification. There's Netflix, there's all these things, right? We want things now, Uber Eats, right? All of that. Whereas even Amazon, they're doing same day deliveries, right? Sometimes now as well, which is getting pretty crazy. So the delayed gratification is where the actual big benefit is, right? It's like, in deals, right? If you put a deal together, you could take a little bit of money up front, right? Or you could go, actually, I want a piece of this in the long term. And if you wait 3 years or whatever the time period is, it could be worth a lot more. But some people are going, oh, I just want a little bit of money up front because I want it now. But that's actually not the best decision, right? It's going, have the delayed gratification, get equity in that business or whatever that looks like in this example, right? This equity portion, and then you could have a much bigger wealth event. So how am I building the assets? Because you think about it like a balance sheet, right? You've got assets and liabilities, right? In our life as well as in our business. So if we talk about it from our life perspective, our business is an asset, of course, and going, is that profitable? Are you investing in other areas, right? So when I think a lot of people in business, they don't think about, well, what am I putting the business money into? Yes, double down on the business and grow it and everything like that. And maybe M&As, put them all together and get a big exit. But it's like, are you diversifying as well? Are you putting it into other things like maybe property or whatever interests you, right? In terms of other assets like that. It could be gold, it could be, who knows, crypto, whatever, your interest is, and knowing enough about that. So I think that's important so that you're not putting all your eggs in one basket, because if something happens, then, you're controlled. And then that is building up over time. So then, you can get big events, you can leverage that, you can obviously get cash flow from that on how that works and really create the life that you want. That's the freedom element, right? Is like in the end, it's doing what you want to do when you want to do it and whatever's important to you. Maybe you've got a family, you've got a partner, you've got kids, maybe you just want to travel the world, you're single by yourself, like whatever's important to you, that's freedom to me. As long as you're doing that, that's the main thing. And the wealth allows you to be able to do that because you're not just, doing the same thing all the time, and just making money. You're actually creating something for the future and ideally creating a legacy, whether it's for your family or, for making an impact maybe in your community.
In practical terms, JT Foxx emphasizes the fact that you should go deep into one thing until you've got that right before doing a scattergun approach to your diversification and your product range. That's really important. You have to actually keep focusing on what's bringing the money in before you go on the side. Now, there was something that I've always said with investing and even in this M&A space is you need four things. People can get involved at any level, provided they've got one or more of the four things. And that is you need cash flow, you need equity, you need knowledge, and you need opportunity. Now, if you've got that time to find that opportunity, if you've got one of any of those four, you have a foot in the door. You just have to go in full for that as well. If you've got two or three of those, you're set to go. What do you think of that?
Yeah, definitely. And it's also creating opportunities, right? Like a lot of people out there think, these amazing deals just fall on your lap. It's like, no, like I created, a big deal with someone in the US and it was an opportunity that was not there. But I saw going, hey, did you think about this? We could do this, this, and this. And I can help you with this. I go, wow, I didn't think about that. And you can increase something else. And I inserted myself into the business and created a massive deal out of it, right? So I can't share all the details on it, but that's basically the framework is going, understanding like, yes, you can do things with people, but going, is there opportunity that other people aren't seeing? And if you can insert yourself into something like that, all of a sudden, you can create opportunities, wealth, freedom, all of that, from business, especially in different ways there in that partnering, getting equity into companies, profit sharing, whatever you want to structure that, deal for as well.
Your superpower is strategic thinking. How have clients benefited from that in real engagements? And I think you've just explained that very well.
Definitely. Strategic thinking is a couple of ways. One is the way that I've mentioned around, to see opportunities, right, that are there, that are not there, and looking at it from a higher level of how things connect to each other. The other part is like JT talks about this all the time, is like thinking many moves ahead, right? And I played chess a lot growing up as well when I was young. So you always have to think many moves ahead because if I move here, they move there, right? So before you go into a meeting with someone or, you're preparing, whatever like that, I'm always thinking, okay, if I say this, if I say that, what's the opportunity? So, whether it's a negotiation, initial meetings, I already know what's going to happen. And when you're that prepared, like, and you can just go on the fly, you can influence people, obviously ethically, morally, right? But influence people in the direction that you want to get the deal over the line, right? And whatever that is that you want to do with people or, whether it's, if it's going to change their life from a sales perspective, whether it's a partnership, whether it's an M&A deal, anything like that. I think that's the real part is seeing things that you're not seeing many moves ahead and what are the opportunities that are out there that, you're not seeing. So they're definitely, my superpowers.
And I think we've seen that all the way through this conversation today, Ethan. Okay. Relationship building is one of your key skills, and that, again, has been a theme. How does that become a superpower in the M&A space, from sourcing to closing to integration?
Yeah, building relationships is everything in business, right? Because people buy people, right? They don't buy products and services. So if you're finding deals out there, like firstly, I think the personal brand is really key here, right? I'll just touch on that because, we need to build, are we a person that people want to build a relationship with, right? Like optics. People are now looking on social media, they're looking you online, right? Before you're on there, whether it's, a LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram profile, whether you have a website, things like that, right? So understanding people are looking at you, and I look at people as well, right? It's the same thing both ways. So what is the perception of people out there? So building your personal brand is really important. That's why I've been able to attract opportunities, right? So then number one, it's like, okay, well, they look at me up and I reach out, or maybe I get introduced to someone, whatever it is, to source a deal. It's like, well, Athin looks like someone I want to chat to, right? He looks amazing because of how I've positioned myself with my speaking, people I'm meeting, whether it's celebrities, my coaching, all these different things, my podcast, like you're doing,
You're
Craig.
here, aren't you?
I'm here, right? Speaking, right? Putting myself out there. It's like
Mm.
Athan's a person that I want to meet. And obviously my energy and, how I perceive and, how I connect with people is really important as well. I'm being very genuine and, great, warm energy, energetic, in that conversation. So that's really important, because what if there's 5 people that are going for that deal? You want to be the person that they go, you know what? I want to work with Athin. I want to work with Craig. Even if they're offering a bit less money, right? Or things like that, or the terms are different than maybe what the other guys are doing. It's like, I have a good feeling here, right? So I think that's really important. So how you are perceived online to then how you're perceived in person as well, or on Zoom or whatever, when you're meeting people, to then getting the deals over the line is extremely important for partnerships, for partnering, with, for capital, whatever like that is extremely important. And then when you're able to connect with people in that way, then anything's possible basically from there.
Well, I think you've answered the next question again, Athin, but I'm going to answer it, okay? So I'm going to take the next question off your hands. Why you? Why Athin Cassiotis? Well, I think that what we've seen today is the total answer. Athin is totally related to strategic thinking, to relationships, to working with incredible people like Foxx and Coffey, putting himself in the position and the environment to be around those people, to not only learn the best strategies to help his clients, but also to have the support and the decades of experience behind him to actually go ahead and implement those strategies as well. Well, okay, Athin, how did I go at answering your question for you? I feel
Thank
like I'm
you.
doing all the work here.
You did amazing, Craig. It's always nice to hear it from someone else's perspective. And yes, all very true. And I'll reiterate to yourself, Craig, you obviously got a lot of experience, in this space as well. And I think it's great that you're, getting someone on me, and the better minds that think alike, high level thinking, right? The better, that mastermind type effect, right? Where we can help more people and touch more that impact. So I think that's why me, I do things a lot differently than people. I make a big impact. If you want to think differently, act, be differently, and do differently, and experience differently, then that's what I bring. And I know Craig does a similar thing in his space as well.
Well, thank you, Athin, for attending this Scale to Exit mini podcast. It's absolutely been a pleasure to have you on board. I think that people got a lot from this, and all your details will be at the end of this. So thank you very much, Athin, for coming along.
Thank you so much, Craig. It's been a pleasure, mate, and all the best for everything with you too.
Brilliant.